Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcomed to this live streaming. Going within, creating inner emptiness. When you are going within, what is the purpose of going within? You are the mind. Mind is full of many things. You are talking to someone. I know it. This is the answer of the person. Nobody is willing to listen. Everybody is there to teach you something. Someone comes to learn cooking, or you are talking to someone about anything of your trade. You start speaking, yes, I know it. Then why have you come here, wasting my time? Because you are already full, and ego is the mechanism behind it. Then creation of inner emptiness is the most essential aspect. There are two aspects of it, or two concepts of it. One is Shunya Veda of Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna is the forerunner out of which the Nanak, Kabir, Meera, all these mystics emerged. The other is Avyakrithopadesh of Buddha. Shunya Veda comes from the two words. Shunya means emptiness. Veda means all that is known about emptiness. Shunya Veda. All that is known about emptiness. Emptiness, there was a sage in 2nd century BC. His name was Pingala. He gave the concept of zero or emptiness. Zero means it looks like a circumference, but it is empty within. There is as such basically no difference between Shunya Veda of Nagarjuna and Avyakta. Avyakta means that which is expressed, that which is known. Avyakta, when you add the syllable a means not, the opposite, expressed and not expressed. Avyaktiropadesh. Upadesh means message. Avyaktiropadesh. The two words are connected by a syllable. Avyakta means that which is not expressed. And Ritopadesh, the message. That was Buddha, the unspoken, the unidentifiable teaching of Lord of Buddha. There is basically no difference between the two, but creation of inner emptiness is the essential aspects of going within. As you are moving within, you are removing the layers upon the layers. As you do, it is a thoroughfare. Nobody is accompanying you. You are all alone. Sometimes there is fear when the old memories comes in. When you encounter the thoughts that are there, the images that emerge out of that thought, all those create fear in you. But you have to journey alone, nobody accompanies you. If you are a light unto yourself, then that light will beacon you along that path. And you are continuing until you reach to the inner spot where there is no emptiness. This is why the temples that have been created in ancient India by the sages, they were great insight behind it. You go to Ajanta and Ellora caves. In the caves, there are sculptures of men and women copulating. Some of the postures are really difficult. So it's a very beautiful piece of architect. But when you see something like this, the human mind takes a flight and starts journeying through various things. They take the pictures, they look at it, they touch the architect, and they return from there empty-handed. If you are deciding to go through a crowded marketplace or a shopping mall where there is going to be a very beautiful culture program, on the way there are many attractions. If you come to know that a great movie star is coming to perform in a particular shopping mall or area, or the political leader or a sage is coming there. So because of this sage, this kind of a celebrity is coming, there will be many attractions, there will be many people will be coming to visit. So if it is a shopping mall, all the shops will decorate their places, they will have additional items, because now there is an opportunity that so many people will be coming in and they will be visiting the places, the eateries, the other electronics and all kinds of items. Someone, the electronic store may give offers on the phones, something or the other. Everyone will try to take advantage of this facility. So what happens there? Based on your own innerness, you will get entangled in those attractions which keep you deprived from going to the inner space. Now, I have heard on 22nd of September there is going to be a great function in Houston, in one of the stadiums, where Indian Prime Minister Modi along with the US President Donald Trump are going to address a mammoth crowd of over 50,000 American Indians living in America. It's a great opportunity. So what will happen? They are asked, the press reporters, the media, they are asked to reach there for 5 o'clock, and I was hearing that it is said that All the arrangement on the top floor is there for coffee, tea and breakfast and all those things. The function is to start 9 o'clock. They are asked, the guest will start coming in from 6 o'clock. So when all these, there is arrangement for the press, the tea, coffee, breakfast and all those things. The arrangement is for those people who are the VIPs, the media and all those things. But what about the common people who are coming to attend this function? They will be traveling far from this place of residence to this stadium. The traffics, the car parks. So somebody will be taking advantage of the car park and do the trade. Someone may open up many eateries, because to cater for the needs of the 50,000 people, many eateries will be necessary. So all those people who are coming, they're supposed to be seated long before the dignitaries who are supposed to address the crowd, they arrive. So all these things have to be done in advance. So what actually happens when you are coming? You are going there for a specific purpose of listening to the Indian Prime Minister and US President addressing the crowd together. But there are other attractions. There may be some kind of foods available, some kind of other trades people will be doing, the small vendors, the large vendors, they will set up their temporary booths. So there will be people who get entangled in that. And in that, they may forget the original purpose for which they have come. This is what happens when you are journeying within, going within. There are many attractions, the attraction of the past thoughts, past companies that you have spent in the company of this man, and that man had relationship with this and that. All these attractions, they are so much so that you get entangled in that and you forget the purpose for which you have come to this place. So when you go to the temple, there is the erotics and all those things, you get entangled. Somebody is selling the flowers and the flowers are very beautiful. So you decided to take a garland of the flower for the deco of the hair for your beloved, or a bouquet of flowers to carry to decorate in your living room or something else. So we spend time in those things, and around the temple these activities take place. So the inward journey is nothing different than the outer one. So there are attractions comes in, you have this while you are traveling, a thought comes in, you are traveling once from one place to another, you met a beautiful person and you spend a lot of time with that person and exchange the ideas. Now when this comes in, you forget about the purpose and you start looking for address to establish the contact once again. So inward journey is you are going all by yourself, all these attractions are there. These attractions, they create distractions. And if you are not aware, you will be swayed by this and you will lose the real purpose of your journey. So when you have crossed, remain unaffected by all those vendors, all those eateries, all that, and you walking as if you are unconcerned about all these attractions, then you reach to the inner temple where there is nothing, there is emptiness, and that is the emptiness we are seeking in order to continue the inward journey. The creation of the inner emptiness is the most important criteria for inward journey. Without this, the inward journey cannot happen. What are you going to do when there is so much of crowd? You cannot have even a time to stand up. When you are going inward, you have reached to the inner temple and you want to sit down in meditation, you need a place. When there is crowd, there is a stampede of thoughts, ideas and things like these, then you cannot sit down there quietly. So there is as such between the concept of Shunya Veda of Nagarjuna and Avyaktiropadesh of Buddha, there is no basic difference. The difference appears to be there, that is only because of the formulation. Nagarjuna belonged to a different school of thoughts. He was a philosopher and one of the greatest philosophers the world has. Only a few people in the world, very few, have that quality of penetration that Nagarjuna has, penetration into a particular thought. You see a particular word, you go into the very etymology, to the root of this word, and from there you start looking at the thing. So Nagarjuna was that kind of a penetrative wisdom. So his way of talking is very philosophical, logical, absolutely logical. Buddha is mystic of a different nature, not a philosopher. His way of saying things is more poetic than philosophical. The approach is different, but Nagarjuna is saying exactly the same thing as Buddha is saying, but in a different way. Their formulation is certainly different, but what they are saying has to be understood. You ask, you want to know if there is a difference between the Shunya Veda, means the theory, the philosophy of nothingness. The philosophy of nothingness. In English language, there is no word which can be equivalent or apparently equivalent to Shunya. Shunya means emptiness. Emptiness is not zero. Zero is simply a periphery. And Shunya means the periphery, the inside, the whole, everything put together is Shunya. In English language, there is no equivalent which can be approximately say something. It is appropriately equivalent to Shunya. Shunya means emptiness, but not negative. Very positive emptiness. It is overflowing, it is dancing, it is singing overflow. This is emptiness. It means emptiness, but it has not. It does not mean simply nothingness. Nothingness comes from no thingness. Thingness means the quality. No thingness. Shunya means void. Void of everything. But the void itself is there with utter presence. It is alive. It is pulsating. So it is not just a void. It is like the sky which is empty, which is your pure space, but which is everything comes in it, goes, and it remains. Shunya is like the sky, the pure presence. You cannot touch it, although you can live in it. You cannot touch the sky, but you can live under the sky. Where else would you go and live? You live in this space. Your room has a space. You live in it, but you cannot touch the space. It is pure space. Everything comes in it and goes. It remains. It is like the sky, the pure presence. You cannot touch it. Although you can live it, you cannot see it. Although you can never be without it. You exist in it. Just as fish exist in the ocean, you exist in this space. Fish cannot exist without ocean. So too, you cannot exist without this space. In Shunya Veda, in Shunya, with the emptiness, you cannot stay otherwise. It is like the ocean of emptiness where you are floating. If this is not there, you cannot exist. Shunya Veda means everything arises out of nothing. Just a few, I was telling you the difference between, it is something like the difference between truth and reality. Reality means the world of things, and truth means the world of nothingness, Shunya. All things arise out of nothingness and dissolves back into the ocean. In the Upanishads, there is a story. There is a story about Shwetketu. He comes from a master's house, back to his parents. They were all learned. His father was Udalak. He was a great philosopher. Looks at him and says, Shwetketu, you go outside and bring a fruit from yonder tree. This is a story from the Upanishad. Shwetketu is a young boy. His father is a sage Udalak. He tells Shwetketu and says, Shwetketu, you go outside and bring a fruit from the yonder tree. He goes out, brings a fruit, and father says, break it. What do you see in it? He asks Shwetketu. There are many seeds in it. And the father says, take one seed and break it. He's going systematic. First he asks him to go and pick up fruit from the yonder tree. When he brings the fruit from the yonder tree, break the tree, break the fruit. What do you see in it? Many seeds in it. Pick up one seed and break it. What do you see, Shwetketu? And he says, nothing. And the father says, everything arises out of this nothing. If you take a seed and you break it, you will not see anything there, but the entire tree, the possibility of growth is hidden in that emptiness that is there between the seed. If you break that seed, you take a green bean, you soak it in the water. There is nothing. When the water provides the nourishment, an environment, and the seed begins to sprout, and something from inside the seed, like a white stem, begins to sprout. That is what we call. And if you open the seed, you will not find anything except emptiness. Everything emerges out of that emptiness, the entire tree. And the father says everything arises out of nothing. This big tree that you see, the big tree from which you have picked up this fruit, comes out of this. This big tree, so big that 1,000 bullock carts can rest underneath it, has arisen out of this seed. And you break this seed and you see nothing there. This is the mystery of life. Everything arises out of nothing, and one day the tree disappears in that nothingness, and you do not know where. You cannot find it anywhere. So does the man. Arises out of nothingness. We are nothing. We will disappear into nothing. And this is Shunya Veda. All that we have known about the emptiness. All that we have known is about emptiness. This is the concept of Nagarjuna about Shunya Veda. The story goes on. The sage Udalak calls his son Shwetketu and tells him to go and pick up a fruit from the yonder tree. He picks up the fruit. He instructs him to break it. He breaks it. What do you see? thousands of seeds in it. Pick up one seed, break it. What do you see? There is nothing I see in it. But out of this nothingness, this is shunya. In a way it looks empty, it is devoid of everything, but devoid of everything, yet still everything emerges out of it, and at the end of the dissolution, everything merges back into it, emerges from it and dissolves back into it. This is the concept, this is the understanding of shunya that we are talking about, the inner emptiness. Not just a periphery, or it is a whole understanding that everything emerges out of that. Where did the tree come from? The tree has become so large, so huge, that it can give shelter to hundreds of the trucks, hundreds of vehicles, and yet still one day the tree will dissolve and go back into the emptiness. So does the man. We arise out of this nothingness, and we are nothing, and one day we will disappear into this nothingness. This is the way Nagarjuna spoke of emptiness. And what is the way of Buddha when he spoke of avyaktiropadesh? The unspoken, the undefinable teaching of Buddha. It is the same thing. Never made it so philosophically clear as Nagarjuna has made it. That's why he has never spoken about it. Never spoken about it. That is why he has said it is indefinable. Buddha said it is indefinable. It cannot be brought to the level of the language. He remains silent about it. You know the flower sermon of Buddha. One day he comes with a lotus flower. Buddha came in Avantipur, the mountain where 1200 monks were sitting. Buddha comes with a lotus flower in his hand and sits silently and said nothing. And the 10,000 monks say something, and he goes on looking at the lotus flower. There is a great silence, and there is a great restlessness too when there is a silence. You come to me and I remain silent. It creates a state of restlessness within you. You want to know what is this going on, why this person is silent, he is looking at me. He is not appearing as if looking at me, it is looking as if he is not looking at me, and you are restless. Your restlessness continues to grow within. Buddha continued to look at the lotus flower. There is a great silence, and there is, along with the silence, there remains restlessness too. People started becoming fidgety. What is he going to do? And he has never done something like this before. And then there was a disciple named Mahakashyap. He was a great philosopher before he came to Buddha, and after that he became Mahakashyap, and he smiles. Buddha calls Mahakashyap close to him, hands over the flower to him, and says to the assembly, what can be said? All that can be said, I have spoken in 40 years of my sermoning. Yet still that which is cannot be spoken. You can talk thousands and thousands words, pages on a particular topic, but that which is cannot be said. You can talk about pages after pages, poems after poems about love, but love cannot be spoken. It is an unseen but realized truth. Love is unseen but realized truth. You have to realize it deep within. Mahakashyap realized the silence within. Something echoed, jumped from Buddha's silence and created an echo within Mahakashyap, and the outcome of that, Mahakashyap smiled. Buddha called Mahakashyap close to him and handed over the flower to him and said to the assembly, "What can be said, I have said to you. What cannot be said, I have given it to Mahakashyap." It is only to a rare person that silence, that emptiness can be given. And that person becomes the next master after that. 99.9% are interested in the company of the master about the known. They want answer to this and that, and what master wants to give they are not interested in. Only a rare Mahakashyap out of the assembly of 1250 monks, it was Mahakashyap alone who was ready for that emptiness. Only Mahakashyap was ready for that emptiness. And this has been given to him. This is a Vyaktiropadesh. This is indefinable message. This is the origin of Zen Buddhism, the transmission. Something was transmitted by Buddha to Mahakashyap, something which is nothing, on the visible plane nothing, no word, no scripture, no theory, yet something has been transmitted. Zen monks have been meditating on this for 2500 years. What was actually transmitted from Buddha to Mahakashyap, and that's where they are mistaken. This went on. But what actually happened between Buddha and Mahakashyap? In that moment of when there was not two, the two has become one. The drop has merged into the, or dissolved into the ocean. Merged into the ocean. Mahakashyap's emptiness merged into that of Buddha. And out of that, the seed of the tree of the seed was planted, the seed of Zen Buddhism, which flourished into Zen Buddhism. We'll continue on this in tomorrow's session. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.